Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is, if you guys don't know, this is my dog Louie, and I thought it would be super fun to get down on the floor with him and make a cute little tag video. I think this is called the Furry Friends tag. I have all the things on my phone, and I thought I would tell you guys a little more about Louie and then also give you guys some Louie news at the end of the video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But basically, this is Louie's time to shine, and it's gonna be all about him. If you wanna stay here with me, we'll see. Okay, what is your pet's name? Louie's name is Louie, and it's spelled with an S because when I first got him, I was reading a biography all about Marie Antoinette, and Louie came to me with the name Louie with an E, but the more I read about Louis the 16th, Marie Antoinette's husband, the more I was like, that is this dog. He was very trepidatious, very nervous, very indecisive, and that's what Louie is like, and especially more what he was like when I first got him. So I just changed the spelling to an S, that way I could feel like I was naming him, even though he definitely came with this name. Next question, what kind of pet is it and what breed? Obviously, he is a dog, and he is a Jack Russell Beagle mix. People come up to me all the time and tell me that Louie is part of, come back here buddy, of whatever breed their dog is. Some people think that Louie is a, what is it, an Australian Shepherd. Some people ask if he's part Dalmatian because he has spots, but he is a Jack Russell Beagle mix, to the best of the vet's knowledge. How long have you had your pet friend? I have had Louie since I was 20 years old, so I've had him for 11 years. 11 years. He has been with me the whole way through my like young adulthood, and now just plain adulthood because I'm not so young anymore. Louie actually just went into Dan's den. Louie treats that like his own, like we call it Louie's office or Louie's room because that's his own room, and he is over sitting with me here on the floor. Next question, how did you get your pet? So I actually was fostering for an animal foster organization. I had fostered one dog before Louie, whose name was Bandit. He was a wild, out of control puppy, and I managed to get him somewhat trained enough where he could go and be placed. And so that dog Bandit had just left. I lost like 14 pounds in 2 weeks taking care of this dog because he was wild. And that was my first experience with dog ownership. So it was nuts. I decided to foster dogs because I'd never had a dog, and I was so excited about the idea of like having one, and I was still in school, so I couldn't really own a dog, but I decided that I would foster for this organization and get other little puppies and dogs ready for their forever home. So after Bandit left, I was totally burnt out, and I told the organization I'd love to foster for you guys again, but I just want like, I don't know, a couple of weeks or even a month off. And they had another dog, Louie, who was looking for placement, and they said, okay, if you can't foster him, would you be able to get on the phone with the woman who has him right now and just do his intake interview? And I was like, okay. So I got on the phone with this woman, and what she said to me was, I own a dog boarding facility. A few weeks ago, someone brought this dog. She said she was moving here from Edmonton. She brought all of his things and said she'd be back in 2 weeks, and she just never came back. So I was pretty shocked when I heard that because it was awful. So this woman was telling me because she loved Louie so much while she was boarding him, and obviously he's a very lovable dog, she decided that she would try and keep him. And she had a little 5-year-old daughter who got very attached to him. They went everywhere together. But she'd also had this dog from before Louie, who was a very dominant dog and was just kind of terrorizing him. So her family had really thought about it and decided that, you know, it was just, it was too hard to keep Louie. It wasn't fair to him because he was very timid, and so they had to give him up. So basically she was giving him up to this organization to be fostered so somebody else could adopt him. So I was like, okay, well, tell me more about this dog. And the more that she told me, the more I was like, I think I can foster this dog. Like, I don't need a break. I can foster this dog for sure. She was like, he has very sweet markings. He looks like he's wearing a little tuxedo. He's older and he's quiet and he's super easy. It's just not a fit for my family. And she, like, I could hear tears in her voice. It was so sad. So I was like, Okay, so I spoke with her and then I called the foster agency, and right away I was like, I need to foster this dog. So I love Louie. Over the course of like a couple of months where I was fostering him, he was like the most wonderful little dog. Obviously, I mean, his previous owner had abandoned him at a boarding facility, so something was not right there. There were some like behavioral things. He wasn't aggressive or dangerous at all, but he was very afraid of men, and he really did not like rain or being wet. So I don't know what happened in his previous life. I will never know, but it took a long time to get him to come out of his shell fully. Within 2 months though, most of it was done. Like, I had him comfortable with my circle of friends. He bonded to everyone. He was a lot less fearful. Like, when I first got him, he ignored me for the first 2 days that I had him. He just went into a corner and like wouldn't even approach me. And I was really lucky because I'd read up on some dog training at that point, so I knew to just leave him alone, let him come to me. But I really bonded with him. And I remember being on the bus back from class one day and just like starting to tear up because I thought, soon enough, someone's gonna wanna adopt him and I'm gonna have to say goodbye. And I was so sad because Louie is just like, he's the perfect dog for me. So anyway, I just love him. The wheels started turning and I thought, okay, I know I can't keep him because I'm still a student. I'm gonna go and have to live back at home after school for a little while. Like, my mom doesn't wanna live with a dog. Like, I'm only 20, so I had to figure something out. So my Uncle Daniel and Aunt Nani actually already had a dog, and I thought if I can just get them to meet Louie, they're gonna wanna adopt him. And if they adopt him, I'll still get to see him all the time. So I actually did something you're not supposed to do when you're fostering a dog, at least with this organization. I brought him home, like, out of town. So I brought him home. I had him meet like my mom, my Uncle Daniel, my Aunt Nani. You know, he got to know everybody. And partway through dinner, I think this weekend, my mom agreed to just let him stay in the house like this once. Because I told her I was really hoping Nani and Daniel would adopt him. My Uncle Daniel kind of looked over at my mom and just said, he's a really good dog. And then it was like, I don't know, that unlocked something in her. My mom has never liked dogs before. I think one of them bit her when she was young. But Louie was just so gentle in spirit and just such a sweet little dog. And I remember telling her, like, man, I'm so sad because I don't think Nani and Daniel are gonna be able to adopt him, and I'm gonna have to find him a new home, and I'm not gonna get to see him anymore. And my mom took some time to think about it, and she said, you know what, if you want this dog, get the dog. And you know, that was my gift that year for the holidays as I got Louie. And so it was amazing. My mom gave me the biggest gift. So that, in a long roundabout way, is how I got Louie. Normally, if you're fostering, they really hope that you don't adopt because that takes you out of the foster pool for a while, at least until they know how your dog behaves with other dogs. But it was really wonderful. I got really lucky. So that is how I got Louie. Adopt. Don't shop. And especially if you can adopt from an organization that fosters, it's awesome. Because the first dog that I placed, I was able to tell them everything about that dog because I'd lived with him. I knew his eating habits, I knew his behavioral issues, I knew exactly how trained he was. Like, it was awesome. And I will say an adult dog is awesome because once they're, you know, once they've hit around 2, they're not a puppy anymore. So you really know their personality. Like Louie, we knew was gonna be like a really quiet dog. So, whereas with a puppy, I mean, you can train them up, but their temperament isn't as set. So anyway, that's my little spiel. I always try and convince people to get an adult dog. What is your favorite, oh, how old is your pet? Louie is 15. He's an old pup. What is your favorite memory with your pet? When I was in 3rd year university, I decided to host a Christmas party all of my friends were excited, and then Louie went out into the backyard and got skunked. And the worst part of it was we had a little Santa costume on him, so it was like you couldn't even be mad. He like just saw a skunk, ran over barking at it, and that was it. And then I remember like Stevie came over, helped me get him. Well, she ended up bathing him basically, trying to get the skunk smell off him. But everything in our apartment smelled like a skunk for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we had to move the party somewhere else. But we raged on because we were young. But that's like one of my favorite Louie memories. What are some quirky things about your pet's personality? So when I first, Louie is like more calmed down now that he's like much older, but when I first got him, he would walk along the back of this couch, like back and forth like a cat. Like he's just very like ginger and soft in his movements and very delicate, so I think that's really funny. He also really did not like thunder. I mean, when I got Louie, he was a very anxious dog because of what he'd been through, so he would like shake like a leaf at the drop of a hat. So he was like very nervous, very gentle, just very sweet. I just remember that woman on the phone who had him saying that he was such a gentleman, and I was like, oh, this poor little old dog, I need to help him. And then he helped me, so there you go. I feel like, yeah, Louie used to be more nervous, and now he's like world weary, where he's like at everything. Louie also, when you pet him a certain way, will show his tooth, like it'll just peek out at you like a little like Elvis lip curl. He tap dances. When I get up in the morning, before I've even gotten up, I hear him tap dancing outside. He'll go tap, 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 tap. He loves tap dance. And he does have something we call bat ears, where his ears just go, it's weird because the structure of them is like a Jack Russell, but the length, the size of them is more like a Beagle. So sometimes they'll just, I don't know. He's very sweet. What does your relationship with your pet mean to you? This is where I feel like really tender-hearted about it, because Louie is such a special dog. I feel like because of the age that I was when I got Louie, I've had him my whole adult life. He has been with me the whole way. He has been with me through relationships, different apartments, like big life changes. Like he's been there for all of it. I feel like my whole 20s, I had this little, not guardian angel because he was here, but when I think about like Peter Pan and how there's their dog Nana, who's like their nanny, their guardian who watches over them, that's what Louie has been for me. He has taken care of me. He's been totally loyal to me, and yeah, I don't know. He's been a guardian and also has really kept me in line. I had to be really disciplined at a time in life, like coming out of school. I remember people would be partying and it's like, I can't, because I can't leave my house for longer than like 8 hours at a time ever. So I don't know, he's just been so wonderful. He is my Nana from Peter Pan basically, and like my sweet little tender boy who like just wants to be loved. What are some of your favorite pastimes with your pet? Honestly, just hanging out. Louie like doesn't ask for much, especially now that he's like much older. He just wants to go out a little bit. He doesn't want to like go wild. I don't know. I love to see him sitting in the car because he loves it so much. I love when he sits at my feet when I'm on the couch. I just like, there's so much to love about him. He's a sweet, sweet dog. So those are my favorite pastimes, just like chilling and hanging out. And the last question is, what are nicknames you call your pet? So I call Louie Lou, Lulu. There's probably so many people in my building who think that Louie's a girl, because I call him Lulu, Louie Lou. That's what Dan calls him, Louie Lou. Snoop Dogg, Snoopy, because he tap dances. We used to call him Bojangles, who's like the most, Mr. Bojangles, the most well-known tap dancer in like old cinema. He's like the dog of a million names, but mostly he's just Louie or Lulu. He's such a Louie. He really suits his name. Anyway, that is my tag. I'm glad I filmed that. I know I'm gonna want this to look back on one day. And I guess I thought I would share some news with you guys because I don't know how it's going to impact things like going forward. So basically, you guys know that I went to the vet with Louie recently. Don't panic. It's not like horrible news. It's not great news, but it's not like, it's not the end of the world. So basically, they ran some tests. They basically checked his urine and found that his kidney is shedding casts. And when you find that in a dog, it's much more common in cats, but when you find that in an animal, you know that they are suffering from some type of kidney disease. So what they've taken away from that is that Louie has some kind of chronic kidney failure, which means that his kidneys are breaking down. It's gonna happen. Like, I asked them what that means. They're like, it really depends how far it's progressed. We still have a couple more tests to run. We have to go back, do a urinalysis again. They're gonna tell us how much protein is in his urine, which is gonna tell us how advanced it is. And they're gonna take his blood pressure, which will tell us if he needs blood pressure medication, because high blood pressure and kidney disease tend to go together, in dogs at least. So I guess I've kind of told them, I don't know, try and not judge how I'm reacting to this. If I'm not crying, it's just because I've had a lot of time to think about it. And frankly, I'm like figuring out the logistics of the situation, so I haven't even really processed this. But what it means is, they were like, well, it depends. He could have 2 weeks, he could have another 2 years, he could have another 3 years. And I just take comfort in that, because Louie is 15. I've had him for 11 years. He is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful dog. And I know that, at least because of the age that he's at and the time that I've had with him, like, this prognosis doesn't change anything. Louie's age meant that he was already at, could be tomorrow, could be 3 years from now, we don't know. So things are pretty much as they were. I just, as I understand it, have more information about how to keep him comfortable and happy. So from what I understand, nothing can undo the damage that's being done to his kidneys. Nothing can stop more damage from happening, but we can do things to make it so that his kidneys don't have to work as hard, which should keep him happier, make him less nauseous. Because I've told them I don't want to extend his quantity of life at this point, because that would just be for me, and I don't want to do that. I want to do what's best for him. I want to do things that improve his quality of life, so that whatever we're doing is something that's making him more comfortable, happier, you know, and not just extending his life for the sake of it so that I don't have to be sad. Because ultimately, I've never lost an animal. I do not know what's coming on the other side of this. I know it's gonna be awful, but what I really want is to make sure that he's happy and healthy. If you have a dog who's suffered from chronic kidney disease, let me know like what your experience was like, if it was not like too harrowing, or maybe tell me, because I just need to like prepare myself. Like I said, we could have another like couple years with Louie, so this may not impact anything right away. I'm trying to be super positive about it. And I'll let you guys know, the thing that we're doing is we're switching him to a kidney-friendly diet, which is very low in protein. And then we have him on a Venti Kidney Protect. This is powder. He gets 4 scoops of this a day, and that will help it so that his kidneys don't have to work so hard. And then he's also on an omega-3 supplement now, and he loves all of these things. I was nervous because usually anything that's even close to medicine, he refuses to eat, but he has gobbled this stuff down. So I'm happy that we found something that can hopefully take some of the pressure off his kidneys and make it so they don't have to work so hard, so that he can enjoy himself. And mostly this treatment is about making sure that this doesn't snowball and lead to other things that aren't kidney related, but are caused by this, that would make his life hard. So that is where I'm at right now. Again, if I seem like unemotional about it, it's just because I've had time to think about it, and you guys can see I'm still in the mode where I'm like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Like, we still have appointments to go to figure out how much it's progressed, you know? But let me know if you guys have experience with this, what you've done to make your like senior dogs more comfortable, and yeah, what like courses of treatment have worked for you, because I've been doing a lot of research and it's been really interesting. So anyway, that is my video all about Louie. I love him so much. I'm so glad that I took the time to do this and just capture this very special time where I feel like it's just been a reminder to cherish him and treasure the time I have with him. And Dan has said to me, and this really like stayed on my heart, this idea that, you know, don't mourn them while they're here. Mourn them while they're gone. If you feel sad, go give him a hug, because he's sitting there and waiting for it. So I'm going to go and give Louie a big hug, and I will see you guys soon. Love you. Bye though.